Hi, I'm Reverend Janet Callahan, High Priestess of Spiral Moon Family Circle and founder of what we hope is soon to be our Center of the Spiral, a community center that will house our events, classes, holistic co-working options, and more. I don't have a fancy professionally produced video like many creators do, but what I do have is over 25 years of experience in the pagan community, where I've been active in different types of groups, learned different types of magic and religious expressions. I've been a business owner of vending at events and online and selling to a global market as a wholesaler. I've been on committees to run events. I've worked events, taught at events, and attended as a participant and a student. I've been a Spiral Scouts leader, and I'm a published author. What I'm asking for today is to help make this dream of opening Center of the Spiral a reality. When I first moved to the Detroit area 20 years ago, almost every metaphysical shop here had a classroom space, or at least space for folks to gather and chat. Every week, there are one or two or sometimes more public events that I could attend: coffee nights, open meet and greets, discussion groups, classes, and more. Over the years, we've lost that ability to connect in person on a regular basis, as groups have folded and taken their events with them, and shops have become smaller and more internet-focused. Starting in 2020, many of us realized how important those in-person connections are, as events shuttered in hopes of containing COVID. But also, in the last few years, I've seen a lack of voices from our community speaking out about things going on in our society at large. I've seen a few people who talk about doing food drives or coat drives, but not a whole lot of effort beyond that. There's little to no action on social justice, climate, any of the things we could do to make our communities, not just the pagan community, but the larger communities that we live in, more resilient to the effects of our society and our economy. We may not have the direction in our religions to help our neighbor the way that others do, but a lot of us have gods who expect hospitality. A lot of us say we worship nature. A lot of us see the issues in our communities and stay silent. A lot of us have been, in the past, shunned for trying to work with other more mainstream groups to accomplish these goals. And clearly, none of these things are working. So we need a place where we can start doing those things ourselves. In the last 3 years, Spiral Moon has hosted virtual chat nights. We've done a survey of the community, and while it's small and definitely not scientific based on the sample size, we know that some things are really important to the community as a whole. In-person events are a big, big thing for a lot of people. We've been part of spearheading a clergy resource group and a mutual aid group. We've relaunched the Michigan Pagan Chamber of Commerce. We've turned my personal library of over 600 books on metaphysics, religion, healing, divination, and more into a public library for our community, which is currently here in my closet. We started a youth group for my children that is now open to any family with children. One thing I've learned over the years is that finding events in our community that are open and accessible to my children who have multiple disabilities is a huge challenge. And so I built this program with them in mind and with the flexibility to adapt as needed for every single family while keeping costs low. We are starting a pagan-centered homeschooling co-op, which runs from preschool through high school. We have an app for our website. We have a pagan parenting website. We have Spiral Moon TV, which is on our website with video on demand, but is also on Roku currently. We've hosted the Little Witches Ball, which we will be hosting again here at the end of October 2023. We've hosted the Ostara Extravaganza twice, which has been thus far a kids-focused event for eggs and baskets and treats, but next year we're hoping to do something a little bigger. We hosted Pagan Pride in 2022. We hosted Pagan Pride ourselves in 2023. We sponsored other local events. We've taken on the task of building a scholarship fund to help marginalized folks attend events. We have Semaphore News, which does a weekly news report of events going on in our local community here in Southeast Michigan. We have a ton of stuff going on. We have a business directory. We have a classified ad site. We want to help our community grow and thrive regardless of the conditions around us. And now we're ready to take the next steps. I want us to be part of a community that has strong connections and that is ready to take on the coming years with compassion and knowledge. I want our community to be better than the world around us and be prepared to reach out a hand to those around us who need help. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Once we have space ready to open, Spiral Moon will begin hosting both adults-only events and family-friendly events for each Sabbath, hopefully with the help of guest ritualists from around the community. We want to make rituals available virtually as well as in person because we know that not all of our community is comfortable with in-person events at this time. And we need it to be accessible. Not everybody can just drive however far it is for them on any given day. We want to host our own classes for our programs. We want to move the library there so that it's accessible to people. We want some community outreach events and charity events. We want to include physical space, chats, and other gatherings. Although again, we're going to keep virtual options available whenever we can because for a lot of people, it's just more accessible. We also want to plan to provide facilities for those who need a quiet space to record classes, podcasts, or videos, co-working space during the business day, classroom space that people can rent for their own classes, and host other events to help cover operating expenses. Event space here in Metro Detroit frequently costs $125 to $200 an hour, even for a relatively small space. We want to be an option for our community that's more affordable and more open to pagan events. As a part of my work as an author and a teacher, I already have a functioning online classroom site. We've opened up to outside teachers, and it allows all of our guest instructors to get residual income, as well as our organization. We believe we should pay teachers. We believe we should pay creators, because time is money in this society, regardless of what we think about how that works. With good cameras and microphones, any class in our space can be recorded for future use and for future sale, which would also help provide funding for this facility once it's open. At a minimum, we estimate it will take $2,000 a month for rent, utilities, and insurance in the spaces we are investigating, on the order of 1,000 square feet. Planning for 6 months of funding to get the space open and get things rolling is $12,000. While more space would be better, I don't want us to have to wait years and years to build up a fund of money that's just sitting in the bank somewhere. Plenty of groups try that route and never get any further than that. I think it's important for us to have something to show for our efforts. We will also need about $5,000 to get started on furniture. We can likely buy used folding chairs, folding tables. A little searching will probably turn up bookshelves and other fixtures used at a good price, but it's likely that we'll still have to make some new purchases. Assuming there are some other unexpected expenses getting everything rolling, our starting goal is $20,000. As a stretch goal, I'd love to wire part of our space for video conferencing, giving all the virtual events and the ability to record classes. We estimate that a good job of this will take another $5,000. We're hopeful we'll raise all the money we need just to open the doors and get things rolling next year. If we don't get the money that we need to do that, we'll look at how we can scale back and still have a physical space. I'm hoping you'll give us your support and help us get things rolling by donating. Our perks include membership, services, merchandise, and more. And we hope that you are excited to join us on this adventure.